I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Another night of iRacing action here on the National Racing Network. Tonight it'll be the stars and cars of the iRacing Silver Crown Cup. 1 week ago, Derek Love picked up his first win of the season, and with only 5 of the 7 weeks counted to this point, Derek Love could very much be a championship contender. But the guy at the top of the board is Brandon Buchberger, sitting on 1,217 points on the strength of 1 win, 8 starts, but 8 top 5 finishes with 80 laps led on the season. We are looking forward to a fantastic night from the world's last great Coliseum, Bristol Motor Speedway, half-mile in length, just to take over a half-mile, where Brian Gerster holds the track record at 12.742 seconds, set back in 2011 in a 410 winged sprint car. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be approaching that tonight, but it is going to be a fantastic show. Welcome once again, everybody. My name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us, and we look forward to spending the next hour or so with you here. Cars are out on the speedway, and we'll pick up our race winner from 1 week ago, Derek Love. A huge strength of field tonight, over 3,800. Once again, 3,848 with 30 cars, I believe, on the entry list, 16 and 14, if my math does me right. 2 splits, and quite frankly, this race could go by really, really quickly. D-Love, first lap, 13.285. He's going to be at the top of the board. See what he can do here on lap number 2. Second lap over the line, and it will be just a tick slower, 1/100th of a second slower. How about Zach Scott Nicky? He's currently second quick. Now he drops down to third at a 13.406. Lap number 2, a 13.429. He's going to stay right where he was. Pick up the 94 and Jeffrey Stanton off at turn number 4. He is second quick, and that is exactly where he is going to stay. Thomas Lewandowski in the Menards colors, the number 2 machine off at turn number 4. Pick up his second qualifying lap, and it is quick time, 13.238, 13.23 with an 8 big lap there for Thomas Lewandowski. How about this guy, Vinny Sansone? We haven't seen Vinny in quite a while. Awesome to have Vinny back in the Silver Crown Cup with us this evening. See what lap number 2 is going to look like for Vinny Sansone. It's going to be a 13.480. Good enough for 8th quick on the board. Let's pick up Joe Quinn in car number 8. He is working his second qualification lap. 14.056 is lap number 1. Lewandowski, Love, Batista, the top 3 as they stand right now. Oh, a little bit of a wiggle there off of turn number 4 for Quinn. His second lap, 13.653. Good enough for 11th quick. Pick up the number 39. Team Watson Racing setups entry of James Watson. Lap number 1 for Watson is going to be a 13.391. Good enough for second quick, and that's all that Watson is going to run. Richard Malagani moving up to third quick inside of row number 2 with a 13.310. Josh Batista, same deal, only scored 1 lap, 13.321. He is good enough for the 4th position. Team Watson Racing set up Smith's Performance, number 81 of River Hayes, working lap number 1, 13.395 is the lap for River Hayes, good enough for 7th quick, and that will be the end of the qualification run for River Hayes. Watson holding on to his 6th qualifying position. Still have 1 minute and 50 seconds left, so time for Scott Schroeder to get out onto the racetrack. But as it stands right now, Thomas Lewandowski and Derek Love are going to hang out on the front row for tonight's race. All the way back to our final qualified car at this point, Laura Gerhardt, 0.6 of a second. Oh my goodness. This is going to be an absolutely epic 100-lap feature event here tonight. And qualifications have come to a conclusion. Everybody's hit the ready to race button. So they're going to start to get their cars out onto the racing surface. Let's take a look here. Well, yeah, we'll pick up the high wide shot and get you a look at tonight's starting grid. On the pole for tonight's iRacing Silver Crown Cup feature event. Well, first, let's see. Got to refresh the paint schemes here because Derek Love is definitely not in a red and white car. That is the default iRacing livery. There we go. Let's try this one again. On the pole for tonight's iRacing Silver Crown Cup feature from the Bristol Motor Speedway will be the Menards Johns Manville number 2 of New York's Thomas Lewandowski with a lap time of 13.239 seconds. To his outside, only 47 thousandths of a second back, the Street Side Classics number 1 of Derek Love. Row number 2 tonight, the Martin Sports number 10 of Richard Malagani out of the Carolinas, lining up alongside of Josh Batista in that Red Ream Rocket. Still not 1/10 of a second separating these cars to your pole sitter. To find that 1/10 of a second, we got to go back to row number 3. It'll be the number 94 Napa Auto Parts Rockwell, North Carolina entry of Jeffrey Stanton. That car will carry the number 6 in your timing and scoring towers. To his outside will be the Team Watson Racing Setups National Racing Network Martin Sports Boomer Button Boxes number 39 of James Watson. That car will be the 7 in timing and scoring. The Smith's Performance Team Watson Racing Setups number 3 of River Hayes. Excuse me, Smith's Race Development. I'll remember it, River, I promise someday. River Hayes lining up inside of row number 4. To his outside will be the number 16 Team Watson Racing Setups National Racing Network entry of Brazil's Nieje Camargo. Row number 5. The National Racing Network, CAS Designs, Team Watson Racing Setups, number 11 of Zach Scott Nicky. And on his outside, the D's Farge, Driven to Save Lives, number 4 of Illinois' Brandon Buckberger. Vinny Sansone, the double clutch, number 5, inside of row number 6. And on his outside will be the TNT Racing, number 13 of South Carolina's Todd Taylor. Dizzy V Designs, main and tail, Team Watson Racing Setups, number 14 of Vic Aldrich, inside of row number 7. And to his outside will be the number 8 of Ohio's Joe Quinn. Final row on the grid will be Laura Gerhardt in the Kibu number 12 out of Germany. And lining up on the outside, the Team Watson Racing Setups Boomer Button Boxes number 15 of Scott Schroeder. 16 cars making the entry list here tonight. Field making their way behind the iRacing safety car off at turn number 4 for the first time. As we mentioned, 100 laps will be the distance here tonight. Got to say a huge thank you to everybody that's tuned in here on the National Racing Network tonight. We really appreciate it. I'm flying solo. Get the comments in. We'll definitely get those up on the air. Super chats, super thanks, all that kind of stuff are down there if you are so inclined. Field making their way down the backstretch. Look for them to be running high, wide, and handsome all night long here. It is a distinct advantage to be starting on the outside row here. Field makes it. Pace car makes the hard left-hand turn. Great flying goes in the air. Great start for Lewandowski. As soon as I say they're all going to get high, wide, and handsome, about the first 2 rows are going to start down on the inside of the racetrack. Lewandowski, Love, Batista, Watson, Malagani all settling in. Oh, big slide for Malagani that time off at turn number 4. How about Watson? Ripping the lip through 1 and 2. Trying to clear Josh Batista. He'll get the job done. Watson already up 3 spots. He is very comfortable in that race car. Jeffrey Stanton, scraping the outside wall. That car is on an absolute heater. He's going to do it again through 3 and 4. Man, that's going to get dangerous. Stanton, you got to worry maybe a little bit about burning the stuff up here, especially early on. But he has already caught Derek Love for second. Not quite getting all the way up to the outside wall just yet. That's kind of that Harry Gant, Kyle Larson line. There he is. Kick the dust up to a little Luke Bryan up on the outside of the speedway. Already working lap number 6. Trouble early for Scott Schroeder. Let's take a look, see if we can see what happened here. As it looks like this battle has settled down ever so slightly. Keep your eye kind of right at the back of this pack. Oh, Schroeder just disappeared. Connection issues for Scott Schroeder, it looks like. Possibly the same thing for Todd Taylor as well. Buckberger, Scott Nicky, and Malagani all doing battle here. Get you a good look there at that East Farms number 4 entry. A little bit of right front damage already on that car. Shouldn't be too much of an issue. Actually, kind of the same thing for Zach Scott Nicky there as well. Battling with Richard Malagani. Oh, big slide off the corner for Scott Nicky. Able to keep it off the right side of Malagani that time. Well, sounds like somebody making contact. We will stay green for the time being. At the front of the field, Thomas Lewandowski holding on to a 0.6 of a second advantage over Derek Love. Let's slide a little forward here as James Watson's got Josh Batista all over the tail tank of that machine. The dive by Batista inside. Watson able to keep that momentum up on the high side of the speedway. That may be the story of this race as we go on. Who's able to grip up the bottom of the racetrack, and does anybody have to make the move for the middle at this point? Oh, big slide for Batista that time. Almost making some contact, little fishtailing from Batista on corner exit. Got to watch how much you use that right foot. Oh, River Hayes. Oh, huge slide. Almost gets into Brandon Buckberger. And we have caution on the speedway for the first time today. Possibly some trouble for Zach Scott Nicky. Let's take a look. Oh, no, actually, it's going to be Vic Aldrich that had the issue here. Let's see Vic a little bit further back. That car dropped to the back. He's already one lap down. Oh, there's the big contact and a huge flip for Malagani. Oh, my goodness. Let's watch this one back one more time. Pick up Malagani. That's that red and white stripe machine at the bottom. Good looking race car. But this was a wild ride for Malagani. See if we can see what happened in the Martin Sports entry. Kind of a little bit of a push-up, and wow, he flew almost the length of the front stretch before getting up into the catch fence. That one was huge. So back to the front of the field. It has been all Thomas Lewandowski here this evening. Very Robbie Gordon-esque with the throwback livery there. As we should see the lights go out on the iRacing safety car this next time by. Scott Schroeder out of the race. Richard Malagani will be out of the race as well. Vic Aldrich being scored one lap down. The remainder of the field on the lead lap The AJ Camargo back in the 13th position, and it looks like it'll be at least one more lap here behind the safety car. Already a quarter of the way through this, almost a quarter of the way through, fifth of the way as it stands right now, and only 6 minutes up on the scoreboard. A lot of action coming up for you this week as we get ready to kick off the month of May, the greatest month of the year. Tomorrow night, we round out April with a doubleheader on Tuesday night. The iRacing Sprint Car Cup will be right back here in Thunder Valley. I can't wait. The 410, wingless 410s around this place are terrifyingly fast. And then we finish out tonight. That race, by the way, 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Follow the night out with the TNT Shock Series making a visit to Five Flags Speedway. That race should be 50 minutes in length. And then coming up on Thursday night, the USF Pro Championship making a visit to the Alton Park Raceway. As lights are out, we're going to get ready to go back to green flag racing as lap number 22 will go up on the scoreboard. Field all the way up against that outside wall. Leave no room for the outside pass. That's kind of the rule of thumb here as we wait for Thomas Lewandowski to get on the loud pedal. And here he goes. Green flag in the air. Oh, great start for Lewandowski. Not so much a little bit further back here. Stanton with a big run on Watson that time. Oh, Stanton almost up into the back of Derek Love. He's got to grab the binders. Scrapes the wall ever so slightly, but that 94 machine is on a mission. Watson caught on the bottom of the speedway. He's going to lose 4 positions as Stanton really gets into the outside wall that time. Take a look at the weather conditions. This will play a role as this race goes on. Says cloudy skies, and that's kind of what we're seeing right now. But the track temperature sitting at 89 degrees. If these clouds break, and with a 10-mile-an-hour wind, that's not out of the realm of possibility. This place could get super slick in a hurry. As now River Hayes trying to work to the outside of Josh Batista. May bring Brandon Buckberger with him. Right now, it looks like the high side's the place to be. Jeffrey Stanton has absolutely used up the right front corner of that 94 machine. He is making heavy contact with the outside wall. Hearing cars bounce off the wall in a variety of places. This is the best fight on the speedway right now. Oh, it's Hayes! Huge contact! He's going to go around. Watson's collected! Caution flag is out. River Hayes spins it around backwards. I think Brandon Buckberger may have gotten a piece of that one as well. Take a look. See if we can see what happened here. Oh, there may have been contact between Hayes and Buckberger. Let's take a look and go back and view this one from another angle. May even slow this one down ever so slightly. We'll see here, but... Oh, netcode getting the contact there, unfortunately. So we'll go back to the live look here. James Watson, the AJ Camargo, both on pit lane. River Hayes still out on the racetrack, but a lot of left front damage on that race car. And Hayes is behind the pace car. Now he should get the wave around. I don't think he went a lap down. The AJ Camargo back out onto the racing surface as Vic Aldrich will come around to get his lap back. James Watson, let's see. Looks like James Watson is back on the racing surface as well. So under caution for the second time here tonight with 69 laps to go. Couple of tributes that we have to make mention of here tonight. First today, the passing of one of IndyCar's best characters, a longtime driver, championship runner-up back in 1973, Wally Dallenbach Sr. passing away at the age of 87. After his driving career ended, Wally was a long time chief steward for IndyCar as well. Kind of known as a don't screw with them kind of guy. A lot of great stories about Wally in Dr. Steve Olvey's book, Rapid Response. If you haven't read that one, make sure you pick it up. A fantastic read. Also, 30 years ago, this week, I can't believe it's 30 years ago, that awful, tragic weekend at Imola in 1994. Tomorrow would mark the passing of the Austrian driver Roland Ratzenberger. Wednesday, marking 30 years since the passing of probably the greatest, one of, if not the greatest, pure drivers in F1 history, Ayrton Senna. Green flag goes back in the air here at lap number 35. Good getaway for your top two. Jeffrey Stanton maybe holding up Josh Batista ever so slightly here. Oh, Brandon Buchberger is on the charge, already trying to come around Zach Scott-Nicki. Oh, 3 wide. Little bit of right side romance there from Buchberger. Huge red mist driving right now for driver number 4. Back up inside the top 5, but he is going to have to watch. If you junk the race car, it's not going to do you any good. Scott-Nicki almost making contact with Vinny Sansone that time. Just up ahead, Stanton and Batista battling for the 3rd position. Stanton again scrapes the wall outside of turn number 4. Now, some of that may just be Stanton running high. One of the things about the iRacing platform is even the view we're getting is kind of an approximation of where Stanton's car is. He's obviously made contact with the wall several times tonight. As Batista, he gives him a little shot in the left rear. Oh, big into the wall that time. Oh, and Buchberger's going to get collected. Huge hit for Buchberger. Wild ride. Brandon Buchberger end over end into pit lane. And we are yard sailing cars on the front straightaway. Take a look at the replay. Stanton got into the wall very hard, spun off the racetrack. And just a huge hit for Brandon Buchberger. Let's wind this one back and take a look at it here. In fact, let's go on board with Brandon Buchberger. Just nowhere to go. Hard into the outside wall and then launched into pit lane. Oh my goodness. Not the view of the start-finish line that Brandon Buchberger wanted to have here this evening. But this is a huge reset for this field, and we're not even to the halfway point yet. James Watson, Vinny Sansone, Todd Taylor, Brandon Buchberger, Jeffrey Stanton, Zach Scott-Nicki, all on pit lane. Scott Nicky has retired. Richard Malagani and Scott Schroeder have all retired. We are down to 10 cars left on the racing surface right now. Laura Gerhardt also coming down pit lane. That's a little bit of a surprise. Pretty big damage there. She was up inside the top 5. So we'll reset the field for you here, widen the camera out, get you a look at everybody. Actually, hold on. We are going to watch this replay back one more time. And we are going to go on board with Nieje Camargo. He's well back of the field, but all hell is breaking loose in front of him. Cars still tumbling, flipping, sliding. Oh, little half spin. Not the worst possible outcome that Nieje Camargo could have had there. And he's able to keep the car on the lead lap, too. James Watson back on pit lane. Looks like that's going to be some extra damage repair work getting done. And like we said, just all hell breaking loose here on the front straightaway. Field has gotten the 1-to-go signal, so let's reset things. River Hayes was backwards on the racetrack about 15 laps ago. He's now up inside the top 5. Thomas Lewandowski, still your race leader. He's led all 45 laps tonight. Derek Love has run second for all 45 laps. Josh Batista, River Hayes, Joe Quinn, your top 5. 6 through 10, Vinny Sansone, Laura Gerhardt, Vic Aldrich, Nieje Camargo, and James Watson. And it looks like Watson may be done here as the green flag goes back in the air. Great jump for Lewandowski. Batista and Hayes going to go to battle here. Vinny Sansone and Joe Quinn doing a little bit of a dance as well. Quinn having the big look inside on Sansone. Those familiar orange and white colors for Vinny Sansone. In fact, Brandon Buckberger, I think, still using a lot of the setups that Vinny Sansone developed years ago. That's how little the Silver Crown car has changed. Not much in the way of updates on the iRacing side of things. Cross flags are up. We're halfway home, and it's still Thomas Lewandowski at the head of the field, leading by a third of a second over Derek Love. But let's pick up this guy here, as D-Love going to have to battle with Josh Batista. Top 3 cars all starting to move down to the bottom side of the racetrack, and actually, the weather is doing what we didn't expect it to. Track temperature cooling down as the winds have calmed down. So you basically have less chance of sunlight peeking through here and warming up the racetrack in a big way. Track ambient temperature, down to 73 degrees. And it feels like just nobody has the outright pace to catch Thomas Lewandowski. But if Derek Love is doing some tire saving, could make things interesting late in the race. The only thing is, I don't know that we see another caution flag here tonight. Still with 10 cars out on the racetrack, Watson made a very quick stop, 2.3 seconds. May have been a stop-go penalty off the restart. You're watching the best battle on the speedway right now between Derek Love and Josh Batista. This is a big hit to the championship hopes of Brandon Buckberger, falling back, possibly finishing no better than 13th. In fact, I would imagine the engine grenaded on that car, so not much he's going to be able to do as Watson dives off down onto the apron to clear out of the way. He will now be 2 laps down. The AJ Camargo sitting about 12.8 seconds back of the race leaders. He'll be the next car to go a lap down. Everybody else separated by a half second or more, so we'll stay with this fight here as Batista trying to get that inside lane to work. Oh, that might be the help he needed. Camargo had nowhere to go. Great move by Derek Love, able to pass the lap car of the AJ Camargo and keep that race car in front of Josh Batista. The fight between these two has allowed Lewandowski to open up the gap to 1.25 seconds. And with 36 circuits remaining that will go by really quickly, Love and Batista are going to have to settle in and just try to log as many qualifying laps as they possibly can if they want to have a shot at catching Lewandowski. Batista trying that move, diving down to the inside. Just not working. 5-lap average for Derek Love is about 1/10 faster than Thomas Lewandowski at this point. Oh, but Love scrapes the outside wall, exiting turn 4 that last time by. And Batista may have a shot here. Dives down to the inside, slides up, about a half a groove up. Josh Batista had it at the line. Love's going to have it back to turn 1. "69 laps completed, field working lap number 70. Nice race so far. The gap's still sitting about 1.1, 1.2 seconds between Lewandowski and Love. Oh, huge slide that time for Batista on corner exit. That's going to bake off the right front. And then when the tail starts sliding as you're on throttle, the right rear is going to cook off of it as well. Approaching the last quarter of this race. Let's take a look here a little bit further back. River Hayes battling Joe Quinn for 4th. Little bit of damage on the right front of Quinn's machine. A whole lot of damage on the left front of River Hayes' car. River Hayes would be absolutely thrilled with a 4th place finish tonight, after being backwards off of turn number 2. And it looks like James Watson has parked the 39 machine, and he will be done for the night. Not much more room that Watson could have gained here as we're down to 24 to go. D-Love, a little bit of damage now showing on that right front corner. There's only so much more room he's going to have to the outside of this racetrack. Could see a situation similar to what we saw with Jeffrey Stanton. You can glance the wall. You can't hit it hard, and there it is. Big hit. Derek Love bounces hard off the outside wall. He's going to give up the second position to Josh Batista. And already a full second back. Batista coming up on the lap car of the AJ Camargo. Sitting 1.3 seconds back of race leader Thomas Lewandowski as we're down to 20 to go. River Hayes and Joe Quinn continuing their fisticuffs on the racetrack. Vinny Sansone and Laura Gerhardt also battling. Those two cars separated by about 4/10 or so, so we'll stick with this battle here. Well, we can show you this one for a moment anyway. There you see the gap between 6th and 7th. Not nearly as good as a fight as the one we have here between Hayes and Quinn. These cars sitting about 3.6 seconds back of Derek Love, excuse me. Oh, but maybe more trouble here for Derek Love. That car very slow now. Derek Love again into the outside wall. That's going to put River Hayes back into a podium position. The Gladiators doing battle here at the last Great Coliseum. Oh, hearing somebody hard into the wall. As Derek Love on pit lane. Looks like it may be night over for D-Love. That could promote the AJ Camargo up into the 8th position. It will. Camargo might have one of only 2 or 3 race cars that are clean and without damage here tonight, it looks like. Well off the pace. But a night like tonight, that doesn't really matter much. 10 to go here at Bristol. There is a green-white checker finish opportunity on offer if it should be needed. Oh, huge slide for River Hayes that time. Almost down onto the nose of Joe Quinn. Now Quinn goes for a slide off at 2. Thomas Lewandowski has been incredibly dominant here tonight. Leading 93 laps thus far as Quinn able to sneak inside of Hayes. Not able to pull it off at the exit of the corner. The next time by, we will be down to 5 laps to go. Man, Hayes and Quinn both have a handful. Quinn once again tries the dive down to the inside of the speedway. Nothing there on corner exit. 3 laps to go. It's still going to be River Hayes holding on to 3rd. Pick up your race leader. This is the other guy that has a clean race car at the end of this show. Or at least he will with one more circuit left to go. White flag in the air for Thomas Lewandowski. The Menards machine through turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Twin checkers go in the air and Thomas Lewandowski gets the win at Bristol. Josh Batista comes home second. River Hayes holding off Joe Quinn for the final spot on the podium. Your race leader's already gone. Race winner already gone. Race results are official. Let's take a look at the running order in an attrition-filled night here in Thunder Valley. Thomas Lewandowski picks up the win by 2 seconds over Josh Batista. River Hayes completes the podium. Joe Quinn, the final car on the lead lap, in position number 4. Vinny Sansone finishing 5th, 1 lap down. 6th, Laura Gerhardt. 7th, to Vic Aldrich. 3 laps down in 8th, AJ Camargo. Derek Love finishing 9th. And James Watson rounds out the top 10. Todd Taylor, Brandon Buckberger, Jeffrey Stanton all going out or about the midpoint of the race, about lap number 40. Zach Scott Nicky finishing 61 laps behind the race leaders Richard Malagani and Scott Schroeder round out your field here this evening. A race that was absolutely dominated by Thomas Lewandowski here tonight. And let's see. Trying to figure out which lap we want to go back to. Yeah, we can do this one. Slow things down, and we will pick up your race winner here tonight, Mr. Thomas Lewandowski. And Thomas, we didn't show your car a whole lot. You were checked out from the very drop of the green flag. Obviously, track position was going to be important, but did you think it would be as critical as it was here this evening?
Yeah, it's always pretty important here. I really don't know what happened behind me at all, because at this track, like, you never get a moment to relax. So I really didn't look at my mirror all that much. I think I saw Josh and Derek racing a little bit, but that's all I saw really.
Well, there was a whole lot going on tonight. It seemed like all hell was breaking loose at various points. We had the big one on the front straightaway. Does that kind of rattle you at all when you're up front, just knowing that things happen quickly at Bristol and there's not necessarily a ton of time to react?
Yes, thankfully I was actually paying attention to that, because I could have easily just drove right into that wreck, but I didn't slow down. Especially with these cars with the brake bias, you run them so low that if you get on the brakes too hard to slow down, it just spins you out. So that makes it treacherous. And, like, all the lap cars today were great, but all it takes is like one little mistake from them just to hit the wall while you're passing them, and it bounces them down into you or something. And yeah, so you're always on the edge here for sure.
Always on edge, and quite frankly, in a big championship battle here tonight, a 3,800 SOF. This is a huge win when just about everybody else had an issue of some sort. Is this one of those that you may look back on later in the season and go, that one was really important?
Oh, for sure. I've had a weird season where I've either won or wrecked, I feel like. So my drops are really bad, and my weeks I've won, are really good. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out at the end of the season.
Well, and it's going to be a fun one to watch for sure as this thing continues on. You are the new points leader, by the way, after this race here tonight. A fantastic season so far, leading 361 of 850 laps completed. That's pretty darn impressive. Congratulations on another dub here, Thomas, picking up your 7th win of the season. Congratulations on it. And before we let you go, do all those sponsor plugs and shout-outs for us.
You just got to, thank you guys. I'm glad to see that you're feeling better this week. And, all my friends at the Drill Al, John, Bob, Marcus, Larry, those guys all help out and, support me. They make it happen.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. I appreciate the kind words as well. Not totally over this thing that's kicked my ass, but thank you much, buddy. We do appreciate that one. The mute button has been working overdrive here tonight. Let's pick up our runner-up finisher here, Mr. Josh Batista, and he is our second-place finisher. We'll bring him up into the booth.
You got an elephant. I got space. Send me smoke signals. You got weed?
You might need some of that after this race tonight here, brother. A whole lot going on. Jeffrey wrecked right in front of you. Derek wrecked right in front of you. And somehow your car looks fairly clean at the end of this thing. How did you pull that off?
I'm just going to say straight up luck and puckering up real good and avoiding those risks. I don't know how I avoided them, but I avoided them. And yeah, the car was on freaking rails tonight. Like I felt really good in the car. I kind of kicking myself because I didn't push harder at the start of the race. But
well, it seemed like that if you were to push, you would end up in a situation where Derek was, where you just had no tire left. Was that a concern? Because, I mean, it seemed like temps weren't all that crazy, so I don't know if it was a handling thing or what, but it seemed like you guys were just chewing up tires tonight.
oh yeah, definitely as the run went on, we were definitely sliding it more and more. And like the grip definitely went away. I felt the ass end kicking out a couple times. But the thing still was just hooked up. At least it was kind of going straight down the straightaway, so it was still fun.
Yeah, the AJ Camargo saying in the comments he was on his Iowa set, proud of ending it. What is it like trying to set the car up for this place? Because Thomas mentioned it a little bit, but you have to run the brake bias really off. So if you have to grab the brakes, now you're spinning the car out. It doesn't want to turn until it does want to turn, and then it's snappy oversteer. There's so much thought process that you guys have to put into the setups on these things.
Oh yeah, definitely. And that's definitely a big thing. I ran 2% more front brake bias than I normally do just because it is Bristol, and I was playing around with the weight tracker most of the race, just trying to find that sweet spot. I was up and down all over the place.
Well, I tell you what, you absolutely nailed it tonight, man. Congratulations on it. Sign on checking in the comments saying Red Ream rocket to the moon. No, he didn't go to the moon. Several other cars did. But Josh picking up a hard-earned second-place finish tonight. Before we let you go here, buddy, get all those sponsor plugs and shout-outs in for us.
Yeah, I got to thank Reem, Jeffrey, from as always, for painting the car, you guys for putting on the broadcast, and everybody for watching. So, yeah, thank you.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We do appreciate you coming to hang out with us up here in the booth. And, man alive, a good show. I am absolutely sweating down here in the NRN broadcast headquarters. I think I'm working in a sauna here tonight. That where I'm sweating out whatever illness this is. But either way, it has been a darn good show tonight. The cars and stars of the iRacing Silver Crown Cup. Thomas Lewandowski claiming his 7th win in 11 starts this season. And they have an absolutely incredible schedule to round out the season. How's this for a month of May? We kick things off with a visit next week to Watkins Glen International. We're going road course racing in the Silver Crowns. I am so excited for that one. Fantastic road course, and these cars are always a great show there. Then we head off to Indianapolis Raceway Park 1 week before the week of Armed Forces Day here in the United States. And then to lead into your Indianapolis 500 weekend, the Silver Crowns will visit the world's greatest race course on May 20th. We round out the month of May with the Crowns rounding out 2024 Season 2 with a visit to Darlington Raceway, the Lady in Black, on Memorial Day proper. Going to be just an incredible way to close out the season here, but don't miss next week's show if at all possible. These cars on the road courses are wild. Total blast to watch. Coming up tomorrow night, we round out the month of April with the sprint cars heading right back here to the Bristol Motor Speedway, 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, the broadcast time on that one. And the TNT Shock Series will visit Five Flags Speedway at 9:45 p.m. Eastern Time. With that, it's time for us to get the heck on out of here. It's been a good show, whole lot of fun. Thank you all very much for coming to hang out with us. For everybody here at the National Racing Network that gets these shows on the air, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, and we'll talk to you all soon. Have a great night, everybody.